Welcome to the AI-powered reader, your shortcut to unlocking the world's best books. Get ready to absorb key insights, understand core concepts, and expand your knowledge all in a fraction of the time. Let's dive in.
Greetings and welcome. Today we're exploring Jay Shetty's insightful book, 8 Rules of Love: How to Find It, Keep It, and Let It Go. The book's core premise reframes love not as a fairy tale to be found, but as a practical skill. To teach this skill, Shetty draws on the timeless framework of Vedic wisdom, structuring his guide around the 4 Ashrams, ancient stages of life he repurposes as classrooms for preparing for, practicing, protecting, and perfecting love. Our guide is Jay Shetty, a best-selling author whose unique authority stems from bridging 2 worlds. He spent 3 years as a Hindu monk, steeping himself in ancient scriptures like the Vedas, and now applies that wisdom in the real world, coaching individuals and couples on these very principles. Shetty's approach moves beyond simply hoping for a soulmate. Instead, he provides the tools to intentionally create a love that grows and evolves. The book seeks to answer a powerful question. What if we could learn to love ourselves and others more intentionally, moving from loneliness to true connection?
Ever feel like you're just supposed to know how to do love? Like it's some instinct you missed out on? Well, you're not alone. Today, we're diving into 8 Rules of Love by Jay Shetty. He's a former monk, and his whole idea is that love isn't some big mystery. It's actually a skill you can learn. Yeah, this quote really nails it, doesn't it? Nobody sits us down and teaches us how to love. I mean, think about it. We're expected to be pros at maybe the most complicated part of being human with no training whatsoever. Shetty's point is that just winging it and hoping it works out, that's not a strategy. We need a real plan.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to look at why a former monk is even writing a book about love in the first place. Then, we'll walk through the book's 4 big stages for building love. After that, we'll really dig into 3 rules that are total game changers. And we'll wrap up with some actual practical things you can start doing, like today.
Okay, let's jump right in with part 1, The Monk's Guide to Love. Look, to really get this book, you first have to understand where Jay Shetty is coming from. His personal story is literally the key to his whole philosophy on how we should be building love, not just hoping to find it.
That's right. And Shetty's background is precisely what makes his take on love so different. I mean, this isn't just some media guy. He spent 3 years living as a monk, deep diving into ancient Vedic wisdom. What he does is he takes all that ancient knowledge and translates it for our modern lives, creating this whole new way of looking at relationships.
And this is really the heart of his whole message. You've got the typical advice on one side, right? The whole find the one, soulmate fairy tale stuff where you just leave it all to chance. Shetty says, nope, that's a recipe for disaster. His whole deal is that love isn't something you just find, it's something you have to actively, intentionally build, brick by brick, every single day.
Okay, so if you're going to build love, where's the blueprint? Where do you even start? Well, that brings us right into our second section. Shetty organizes the whole book around this really cool concept from Vedic tradition called the 4 Ashrams. You can just think of them as the 4 essential stages for building a love that actually lasts.
And these 4 stages, they lay out a super clear roadmap. The progression is what's so brilliant. See how it starts? It all begins with you, alone, learning to love yourself. Only after that do you move on to practicing love with someone else. Then you learn how to protect that love when things get tough. And the final stage? The big one, it's about taking that love and extending it to, well, everyone. It's a journey that starts inside you and just keeps expanding.
All right, now we're getting to the absolute heart of it all. We're going to pull out 3 rules from the book that are honestly total game changers. If you only remember 3 things from our time together, make it these 3.
First up, and this one might sound a little backwards at first, but it's so important. Let yourself be alone. Shetty draws this super clear line between loneliness, which feels empty, right, and solitude, which is an opportunity. It's time for you to figure yourself out. His point is simple. How can you expect to love someone else if you haven't learned to be happy with yourself first? Solitude? That's where you lay the groundwork. Okay, rule number 2. This is a big one. Don't ignore your karma. But wait,
Shetty wants us to totally rethink what karma even means. It's not about some cosmic scorecard, punishment and reward. Not at all. Karma is just cause and effect. It's a tool that helps us figure out why on earth we keep making the same mistakes in our relationships over and over again.
And the thing that's driving this karma cycle, it's a concept called samskara. Basically, think of them as these deep imprints or impressions left on your mind from your past. We're talking stuff from your parents, your exes, even the rom-coms you grew up watching. You know that feeling when you make the same bad choice in a relationship and you're like, why did I do that again? That's your samskaras at work. They're like these hidden blueprints guiding your decisions.
So here's how that cycle works, and this is the really important part. You've got that old impression, the samskara. That leads you to make a certain choice. And that choice, of course, has a consequence. Now, if you don't like the outcome, the only way to stop the cycle is to go back to the beginning, look at that old impression, and consciously decide to do something different. If you don't, you're just going to be stuck on repeat.
And that brings us to our third and final must-remember rule, which is a really radical idea. It's Rule 4. Your partner is your guru. Get this. They aren't there to complete you. They're there to be your teacher.
Now, this is a massive shift in thinking. On one hand, you have the idea we're all fed. The partner as solution. Find someone who'll fix you, solve your problems, and just make you happy. But the partner as guru idea? That changes the entire game. The relationship stops being about fixing and starts being about growing. It becomes a shared journey where you're both helping each other become better people, leaving the ego at the door.
So that's the big picture thinking, and it's pretty powerful stuff. But one of the best things about this book is that it's not just theory. It's packed with real, practical tools. So for our last section, let's check out a few exercises you can literally try as soon as this is over to start putting all this into practice. First things first, you've got to know yourself. You have to get crystal clear on your own values. A simple exercise like this one helps you figure out what really truly matters to you. Knowing how you operate with things like time, money, or being social, that's step one. It's the only way you'll find a partner who's actually a good fit. Someone who gets your values, even if theirs aren't exactly the same.
And what happens when you inevitably disagree? When things get a little heated, Shetty has this awesome framework for arguments called Peace. It's basically a step-by-step guide to turn a fight into a moment of connection. I love how it starts with just picking the right time and place, and then it focuses on we statements, not you statements. The point isn't to win the argument. The point is to come out the other side stronger together.
And finally, let's talk about trust. This is such a simple but incredibly powerful tip. We get so caught up in the big romantic gestures, right? But we totally miss the small, everyday things. Shetty's advice is to start actively noticing and appreciating those little moments of reliability. Just saying thank you when your partner shows up on time or does that little thing they promised they would. That's how you build real trust. It's not about one big leap. It's about all those tiny, consistent steps. And all of this brings us to the book's final and maybe most powerful idea. The end goal here isn't just to find that one special person. It's to become a more loving person, period. According to Shetty, mastering love isn't a destination, it's a daily practice. It's a way of showing up in the world that you share with everyone, all the time. So the question the book really leaves you with is, how are you going to create love in your world today?
That's all for this episode of the AI-Powered Reader. We hope today's summaries sparked new ideas and brought you valuable insights. If you enjoyed what you heard, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and consider leaving a review. It really helps others discover the show. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep reading, or rather listening.